Well, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Ciera Payton and this is my YouTube channel. Oh my goodness, this has been, I don't know, years in the making, I should say. So I wanted to create a space for you where I share all about my background and my lifestyle as an actress, entrepreneur, and educator in hopes to help you along your journey, whether that be creative or whether that be, you know, anything that has to do with lifestyle. And so here we are. I also wanted to make a 8-part video series where I talk about how I got into the entertainment industry. I just felt like one video, it's going to be probably an hour long. So I figure, you know, let's make a few little videos and cut it up and break it up into different themes and sections so you guys can get a little bit of the idea of how I got started in the business. Now, if you are new here, welcome. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button, and also you can ring my bell. That way you will know that I've uploaded a new video. Now, if you have been subscribed to this channel for a long time and have seen the most random videos that I have uploaded, thank you. Thank you for sticking around and thank you for checking out this video. All right, so I just want to go ahead and dive in here. Again, this is going to be an 8-part video series and this is the first video. This video is all about how I got bit by the acting bug. So the earliest play that I can think of that I was involved in was in kindergarten. I was going to school in Texas and we got, you know, the opportunity to be in a play in our kindergarten class. I don't remember what the play was about at all, but I just remember it had to do with some grasshoppers and I think an ant, and it was like an Aesop fable. And I was the tallest girl in my class. I've always been tall. I'm 5'8", but people think that I'm taller because I think I'm actually 5'8.5", which whatever, doesn't matter. So I got asked to be a giraffe. And I just remember being on stage, being a giraffe, and I had to at one point stand behind a tree and throw leaves out and just thinking like, man, I want to be the grasshopper. You know, he had lines, he got to talk. And I think that that was the first kind of tiny bit that I got of wanting to be on stage and wanting to be an actor. Now, you know, years later, we fast forward to when I'm 8, 9 years old and I'm living in New Orleans with my dad and my 2 aunts and my Nana. And, you know, living in New Orleans was just incredible because, you know, it's just a city that's just filled with so much creativity, you know, with the street artists and the music and, you know, the painting and murals, and even just the food itself is an art form. And so I was completely immersed in that, you know, when I moved to New Orleans, and just loved every minute of it. I didn't really get into, you know, creating and acting right off the bat, but I would say that, you know, one of the things that was a big catalyst for me, you know, getting involved in the arts or, you know, creating things at home, you know how you always hear the story about people making plays at home and stuff like that. That was me. But I was doing it mainly for my Nana. You know, around that time, she had been diagnosed with cancer. And I just remember, you know, the chemotherapy being really rough on her. And, you know, she would at times just be in the bathroom crying. And, you know, as a little kid, I just loved her so much and just loved her spirit and everything, and I just wanted to make her feel happy. And so I started taking my little children's books, you know, the Golden Book. I don't know if you guys know that. I don't even know if you're old enough to know about those, but I would get a tape recorder and I would record myself reading these books, and then I would get my stuffed animals or my Barbies or whatever and literally put on a play for my Nana. And I just loved doing that for her because it just lit her up so much and just was, you know, a way to make her take her mind off of, you know, what she was going through at that time. And then Pocahontas came out, the Disney stuff and the Little Mermaid and everything, and I just loved all of those. And I would start, you know, singing those songs from those soundtracks to her all the time. And, you know, I really got to give credit to, you know, my family that they saw that and they wanted to nurture that. And so my aunt, we call her Peanut, but her name's Adrienne. She bought me a karaoke machine, and I just loved that thing so much. I think I, sang on it until the thing broke and fell apart. And, my dad, he saw that in me too, that I loved, performing and, storytelling. And so he was able to enroll me into this magnet school in New Orleans called McDonough 15, which is also known as Little Red Schoolhouse. Now, back in the day, and I know that this happens all over the country in the United States, we were only allowed to go to the school that was in our district. And I did go to the school that was in my district, but it was a really challenging school. It was a really rough school. A lot of kids were held back. I do remember there was a girl who was in my grade in 4th grade who was supposed to be in 8th grade. Lots of bullying happening. And my dad just, was like, look, this isn't the place for her. She's really into the arts. And so he was able to talk to his boss, because he was working at a restaurant as a busboy. And he asked his boss if he could use, his address to get me to be a part of that district where that magnet school was. Very controversial way, obviously, but I got to give credit, that my dad took that leap and did that for me, because it really, really transformed and changed my life. So I went to McDonough 15, and while I was there, I, was involved in the band. So I learned how to play the clarinet. I also took an arts class. And so, I learned all about visual arts and, all those things. And I took my first intro class into acting while I was there. And that was pretty cool, but it was very, very scary. And so I ended up leaving that school in 6th grade for middle school at Lusher Extension. And this is where I really started to take a dive right into acting, and where the acting bug really bit me. Before that, I was all about band. I was all about playing my clarinet. I loved the marching band. When I was at McDonough 15, we got to, march in the French Quarter during Mardi Gras, and I loved it. I ate it up, and I loved singing and, and painting and drawing. Like, those things were awesome. And I took that one little acting class, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But when I got to Lusher, there wasn't a music program. And so I kind of was like, a little lost puppy. I was like, wait, I want to continue, learning how to play clarinet, but they didn't have anything like that there. They did have a drama troupe and they had a dance troupe. And I remember the day that they announced that auditions were going to be happening for both. And so I was kind of like, what's up with this dance thing? Not really for me, but that drama thing, that sounds pretty cool. And so we had to just basically do a monologue and audition, and I believe I picked something from Romeo and Juliet. Then I ended up auditioning for the drama troupe, and I got in. And that was really, really cool, because that was my first official just experience of doing a play and being on stage. Our teacher, Miss Newberry, this amazing British acting teacher, I don't know how long she had lived in New Orleans up until then, but she was our teacher, and she had us put on a Greek tragedy play where I got to play the Greek goddess Athena. And I just remember we did the play in front of the school, literally in at the front of the building of the school where the streetcars would pass by. At the point where I had to walk out on stage and strike a pose, the streetcar was just coming and people were taking pictures. And I just remember being like, whoa, this is amazing. And I had one line, but I just loved it. And I was like, I want more of this. I want to do more of this. That whole experience being a part of the drama troupe was just the beginning of it all. Our teachers, Miss Newberry, they granted us a trip to New York where we got to see Broadway plays, and the first one I got to see was Aida, and then we got to see Contact, which I think was a little controversial for us to see in 7th and 8th grade. And we got to go on the Apollo Theater stage and got to see that. And then I remember at one point, one of the hosts of the Apollo Theater asked, if there's anybody who wanted to get up on stage and sing. And my friend Ugorgi and I, we got up there and we sang and just had such a great time. And I was like, this feels right. This feels like I really want to do it. I believe that, Miss Newberry also saw that in me as well. And so she was the one that suggested that I audition and apply to go to the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts. And basically it's a school where you go and you study in a specific discipline, whether it be dance, creative writing, acting, media art. There's more now. I think they have like culinary arts, just all kind of like graphic arts, stuff like that. Back then, you would go to that school for half the day, and then you would go to like your academic school for the other half a day. For the drama program, I know that all the other programs are different, but they would only accept you to do the half-day program starting in 10th grade. And if you were in 9th grade, you'd have to go to the after-school program. So anyway, Miss Newberry had, encouraged me to go and audition while I was in 8th grade. And I was like, okay. So I auditioned at the end of my 8th grade year. And then I had found out over the summer that I had got accepted into the 10th grade class as a 9th grader, which was amazing and cool that I didn't have to do the after school program. But what was so cool about it is that it put me in class with kids that are older than me, and it really forced me to just to mature and really take that whole acting thing very seriously. So my 9th grade year, I went to NOCA for a half day, and I went to my academic high school, McMain, for the other half. And it was an incredible experience. I had some amazing teachers there who really were able to see, that I was serious about being an actor, and they really helped to nurture that. That school was all about being disciplined. And while I was there, we took all kind of voice and speech classes, acting classes, movement classes, dance classes, just everything, you name it. We also took, costume classes where we got to learn how to make our own costumes, and, stage classes where we got to learn how to stage manage and operate the lights and props and stuff like that. And so it was an incredible experience. And that is what really was the springboard for me to really dig my heels in and say, look, world, I'm an actor. I want to be an actor, and this is what I'm going to do. And I loved every moment of it. So that was my story about how I got bit by the acting bug. In the next few videos, I'm going to venture more into my journey into the entertainment industry. So thank you so much for checking it out and for stopping by. I will see you at the next one. Bye.